Trojan Warriors. Objective: setting captives free. By David and Michael Clarke. Narrated by David Clarke. Why Trojan Warriors? Surprises can be exciting. However, they're not all necessarily dangerous. The exciting thing about a surprise present is that you never know what might be inside. That can also be a danger. According to Greek legend, the war between the Greeks and the people of Troy was a long and bloody one, and at the centre was Helen, the most beautiful woman in all of Greece, and Paris, the Trojan prince, who loved her. Paris was the son of the king and queen of Troy. When he was born, his mother dreamed that she was giving birth to a flaming torch. Fearful that this was a bad omen, King Parim ordered that the child be left on the hillside to die. Paris was saved, and when he grew up, he was tricked by the goddess Aphrodite into saying that she was the prettiest of all. This was because she had promised him the power to win the love of the most beautiful woman, Helen of Troy. Paris went to Sparta, believing that he got this power, convinced that Helen would fall in love with him. He snatched Helen from her husband and took her back to Troy. A huge fleet of Greek heroes set sail to Troy to try to bring her back. When words failed, they laid siege on the city. After 9 long years of war, someone in the Greek ranks hatched a plan and built a huge wooden hollow horse on wheels. One morning, the sentries at the gate of Troy awoke to find the extraordinary horse left outside. The next thing they noticed was that the Greek army had gone. Reports soon reached Troy that the Greek fleet had been seen sailing away. The war was over. A captured Greek soldier claimed that the horse had been built as an offering to the goddess Athena, so that she might give them the wind for their sails. Helen, who, as Aphrodite had promised, now loved Paris with all her heart, was suspicious of the wooden horse, but none of the Trojans would listen to her. They wanted to bring this offering to Athena inside the walls of the city. That night, while the city slept, the Greek fleet came silently back to the shore, and the armies made their way to the walls of Troy. Inside the city, there was a movement from within the horse. It was full of Greek soldiers who had been hiding there all the time. They opened the trapdoor in the horse's belly, lowered a rope ladder, and climbed down under the cover of darkness. Overpowering the sentries, they opened the gates and let in their comrades. There were some dreadful deeds done that night, ending with the city of Troy being burned to the ground. The dream of Paris's mother, that he was a flaming torch, had indeed been a terrible omen. Trojan Warriors, and the slogan of the horse, has been adopted solely from the Greek legend and myth as a means of explaining some of our objectives, setting captives free. The victory was actually achieved by the Greeks, not the Trojans. The story is without biblical reference. However, it is a story of great significance, for our Trojan warriors are God's army. The city represents Satan's kingdom, and the prisoners represent the portion of the human race of unbelievers who are still in bondage. It is therefore our duty to be a true, effective Trojan warrior. For Christ, who is our supreme chief in command, we are under orders to give our redeemed lives to bring about the ultimate victory by setting captives free. On a personal note from the author, the story in this book, Trojan Warriors, is true, but tells another, one where another enemy had taken him and his Helen captive. He was delivered and was enlightened by the Lord to join ranks and wage war on the real enemy of mankind. This was achieved by David, the author of this book, entering into New Bilibid prison under the guise of a Trojan horse, and appointing many inmates and incarcerated prisoners of New Bilibid prison as Trojan Warriors. These too, like David, was appointed to preach Christ and him crucified. This David too is a Trojan prince.